Good evening, afternoon, everybody. Thank you for coming today. Lovely to see you all. Just going to let in a few last minuters. Welcome, welcome. It's lovely to see some familiar faces here, and it's lovely to see some new people. So if you're new to me, welcome. Hope you have a lovely hour with me this evening. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Hannah, and I have been working with Spirit for, I was saying about a decade, but it's actually about a decade and a half now, which is a bit of a shock. That's gone really quickly. One of the things that's really, really important to me, and you may have heard me say if you've worked with me before, is that I absolutely do believe that anybody can be a medium. I do not believe that I am special. I mean, I'm special in many ways, but my mediumship does not make me special. It's something that is available to everybody. And I learnt how to communicate with the spirit world. And you can learn how to communicate with the spirit world too, should you wish to. Now, one of the things that I always say whenever I start a dem, and I know some of you are hearing this for the 20th time, is that your loved ones in spirit, if you haven't seen a medium demonstrate before, or if this hasn't been explained to you before, it's a really important part of it. They're no longer in a physical body. Now, I bet you're all going to say, well, Hannah, I knew that. That's obvious. What? But the point being that your loved ones are no longer in a physical body, which means they no longer have a voice box. So when you watch mediumship portrayed on TV, if you've watched Sixth Sense or if you've watched Medium, Ghost Whisperer, anything like that, you will see them talking to spirit. I wish that that is how it worked all the time. I really do. But it's slightly different than that. They are no longer in their physical bodies, so they are made of energy and they send energy to us mediums, which we do our best to interpret. The reason I always start off by telling you guys this is because if you were thinking about coming into this scenario tonight or yesterday and you were thinking, well, if my loved one comes in, I need them to say orange rabbit. And if they don't say orange rabbit, you'd be surprised some of the passwords I've heard. That's a very polite one. Orange rabbit, 123. Then I'm not going to put my hand up. It makes sense as a theory if spirit could speak. But they can't. They can sometimes manifest voice on very rare occasions, but it has only happened to me demonstrating a finite amount of times. So I ask you please to work with me. If everything I've said sounds like your person, please don't hold us hostage going, well, I need one more thing before I'm going to put my hand up. One more thing. I want my thing. Because that often happens in in-person demonstrations and people come up to me at the end and they say, I think you were with me, but I didn't put my hand up. Is it too late? Yes. Not for you to ever hear from your loved one again, but from me to get them back in. I will work until my battery runs out. And once my battery runs out, I will go off. I will have a large glass of Sauvignon Blanc and then I will go to bed and sleep. So that's my plan for the rest of tonight. So I just need you to work with me. Does that make sense, everyone? Excellent. Lots of lovely nodding faces. So I ask you please to keep your hand raised. Now, at the moment, we're still waiting for quite a few people who have booked tickets to turn up, but maybe they will, maybe they won't. That's fine. It's always how it's supposed to be. So you're all on one screen for Pamela and I think. Are they all on one screen for you, Pam? Two. You're all on one screen for me. So I can pretty much see all of you, but that could change at any second. So if you recognize when I offer it out, if you recognize who I'm talking to, if you could raise your hand, please. You can do it into the camera. You don't have to find the raise hand function on Zoom, but if you could just keep it there. If you go like that, then it's really hard for Pam and I to see if you've got your hand up. So we will do our best to look, but if you could just keep it there. Yeah, I know you feel like a bit of a muppet, but it really would help us. I ask you please to not DM me during the demonstration. It's really, really distracting. It's one of the reasons that I do not go on Facebook Live as often as I could, because it's just flashing up on the screen and it's a lot of work. If you decide, and I know I'm going to show my age now, if you decide to do a challenge Annika and start running around your house with your camera, doing something, we will turn your camera off and we may even remove you, just because, again, that's a really disruptive energy. It's like somebody jumping around on the screen like this, but you're just going to answer your front door or something. So if you need to move around, I ask if you could please just turn your camera off for that moment. That would really, really help me. And I think that's all of it, really. Your loved ones in spirit. Obviously, it would be incredible if I could get 30 spirits through tonight. I can't. I can't work that fast and I would be too exhausted. But your loved ones in spirit will work in collaboration. So, although you may not hear from who you want to hear from, it might be somebody else in your spirit family, because they will pick who's best to work with me in this kind of scenario as well. But also, even if the spirit has no connection to you and I'm working with somebody else, your loved ones will try to find ways to give you little hellos from the spirit world. So if that spirit comes out with something really specific and you think, oh my God, that sounds just like my grandma, then just know that she's worked with them to say hi. She's trying to let you know that she's around. Everything hopefully will make sense. I'm pretty sturdy, so I can take no's. But if the majority of what I've said you can't take, I ask you, please don't raise your hand. I know that it's really easy when you're in this scenario and you really want a message to think, well, that could be mine, that could be mine. But if it doesn't fit, please don't do that. Please only raise your hand if it is true for you. Does that make sense? All still nodding, all still with me. Awesome. Let me just move my mind to spirit then, and we will see who wants to step in with me. Well, straight away, I've got Dad stepping forward with me here. And I want to talk about Dad moving into spirit too quickly. So there's a real feeling of Dad being here and gone very, very quickly. And I'm really being drawn to my chest. So this feels like difficulty breathing. I feel like there's a weight on my chest. It feels very, very sudden and unexpected when Dad moves into the spirit world. I do know that with Dad's passing, there's a real sense in the family and from his perspective of being robbed. There's a real feeling that he should have had longer here and that he wasn't able to say goodbye to people the way that he wanted to because of the sudden nature of his passing. In fact, he's making me even more aware that there was something that stopped people being able to say goodbye to him. So it's not that he wasn't here. He passes very suddenly and very quickly, undeniably. But actually, there's something he's making me aware of here, that people couldn't get to him or weren't allowed to get to him, something like that, that I need to acknowledge, because there's a frustration that he wants to speak about here, not being able to say those goodbyes and not being able to hear them. Now, I want to talk about Dad being a real character. I know that he thinks, and I'm going to say he thinks, and you'll understand why, that he's very funny. I know that he's got this real kind of quirky sense of humor, dad humor. He really is he's got a lot of laughter in him. I feel like there's this kind of, I don't take life too seriously. He wants to talk to me here about, there must be a lot of women in your family or girls in your family, because I know that he's making me aware that when the girls all got very emotional and the girls were talking about, feelings and things like that, he'd be there very quickly to make a joke about it, roll his eyes about it. And it doesn't mean that he didn't love you all. You know this, but I do feel like there is something there that he's acknowledging where all the feelings get in. He's not into the deeper meaningfuls. He's into having a laugh. So who am I with, please? Who recognizes Dad here for me, please? Cheryl. Is it just Cheryl, Pam?
It's Hannah.
Excellent. Good. Hi, Cheryl. Let's get you off mute.
Hello.
Hello, love. Do you understand everything I've said?
Yes.
Excellent. So this would be Dad.
Yes.
And you understand his passing being very sudden, very unexpected, and to do with his chest area.
Yes, of sorts. That's the only. Yes. Yes. Everything. Yes, it is. Yes.
Okay. Was there some sort of breathing difficulty or some sort of?
There would have been.
Yeah. It just feels like I'm struggling to breathe. Like it's like I've got a big block of cement sat on my chest. It feels like he's trying to breathe through that. Would you understand that?
Yeah.
Okay. And do you understand this thing where he's making me very aware that family were prevented or unable in some way, stopped from being able to say goodbye to him?
Yeah.
Okay, because this is really important to him, and he's going to circle me back to this when I finish controlling my mediumship, and checking everything. So you understand Dad to have this sense of humour, Cheryl, that's really important to him, and this kind of like, you knew that he loved you, but he just didn't do the fuzzy emotional stuff.
Yes.
Okay, great. So he wants to talk about his passing and the fact, the wound that is caused, that he wants to acknowledge, of people not being able to say goodbye to him, and a frustration about that, you'd understand.
Yeah.
And there's two things that he wants to say about that. Number one, are there some questions raised about what it was like for him as he passed, or some unanswered? Yes, because there is this, he's wanting you to know, for him, he really wasn't aware in the way that you are worried that he might have been aware. There's this real kind of, it wasn't bad for me. And I think this is the really big part of his message that he's wanting to acknowledge here, is that it feels terrible for you guys. It feels so frustrating. Everybody's, making calls, trying to get this, please help us. And there's this real feeling of helplessness and frustration that he's wanting to acknowledge. But from his point of view, he's drifting in and out. He's not aware. He's not sitting there. He's not afraid in the way that you guys would have been worried that he was. It's almost like he's pre-disconnecting, if that makes sense. He's moving into this love energy, and he's just not afraid. He's not worried. And he really wants to acknowledge that. There's also an acknowledgement here of, he's quite laissez-faire, your dad, in the way that he presents himself. So you would know that he wouldn't go into the big drama of things. He's like, oh, it was all right. It had to be the way it had to be. Don't worry about it. And he's quite, and that's not to undermine the experience that you guys had, but it's just the way that he is. This is the hand that you've dealt. No use crying over spilt milk. Let's get on with it. And there's an acknowledgement there from his point of view that it wasn't bad for him. There is also an acknowledgement here of, it just feels to me, would you understand, Cheryl, like that everybody is like panicking, worried, very, very stressed. And then did you find out by a phone call?
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. No,
I'm
you're
not
fine.
supposed to him. I'm so sorry. Yeah.
Yes, no, don't worry. Because he's wanting to acknowledge being with you all already when you receive the news. He's there straight away. So he watches that all unfold. And he is so sorrowful that you guys are all instantly worried about him. What was it like for him? Was he okay? Was someone with him? Was he, and all of this stuff. And he's just there going, I'm fine. Don't worry about me. I'm fine. And watching all of this. Now, Cheryl, he really wants to talk to you about, you must have said goodbye to him in your own way following his passing. Do you understand this?
Yeah.
And it feels like I need to acknowledge here some words that you spoke to him when you were completely alone. Does that make sense?
Possibly.
Because I just feel like he's really trying with the evidence, because he knows it's important to us, and he might remind you of it later when he can get into you. But there is just this sense of, I heard everything you said, but also that there's some sort of conversation that he's wanting to acknowledge where it's just the two of you following his passing, because he's wanting to tell you that what you experienced was real. So I know that might not be landing right now,
but that.
Okay, good.
I do understand that.
That's really important to him, because it's almost like that is maybe what started you on this journey, or maybe some sort of catalyst for you. But that's always the thing you go back to. But it's also the thing that sometimes you go, but was that just wishful thinking? And he's really wanting you to know that it wasn't. He's really wanting you to know that he's there. Now, he's laughing because obviously, I know you, Cheryl, you're one of my students, so I know your personality. He's laughing about you being chatty, which obviously you are, and we all love you for it. And there is this acknowledgement of him of like, not sure we should have opened the door, because now she's always chatting to me and she's always asking me for help and setting me to work and asking me to get involved in this, that, and the other. And he's just wanting you to know that he is always answering you and responding to you. But he is doing it with his sense of humor, where he's almost like, oh my God, I haven't worked this hard. I didn't work this hard when I was here, and now she keeps setting me to, and he's really laughing about it. So he wants you to know that he's around. And there's some sort of acknowledgement here of you asking for help with one of your children. Would you understand this?
Yes.
Yes, he says he's on it, love. He's on it, love. He's heard you. So he's just wanting to bring all that energy, bring all that I'm here. You're right. I'm with you. He's not one for big mushies, but he is telling me and showing me how proud of you he is. And he says, this is what you worry about. You worry that you're making him proud. You want him, to know that you are a good person and you try. And he's really wanting you to know that he sees that. He is so proud of you. He says, you're very hard on yourself. He said, but again, he really has got a sense of humor, because he's like, you just need to learn to be omnipresent like me, and then you can be all things at once and all things to every person. But until you learn that, you are doing a phenomenal job. And he just wants to acknowledge that he is with you every step of the way.
Thank you so much, Hannah. Thank you.
No worries. Thanks, Cheryl.
Sorry, I'm so sorry, everyone. I'm not even my husband's seen me cry probably about 5 times in 20 years. Thank you so much.
No worries. It's fine to cry. Don't worry about it. It's a lot. Right. Let me just have a glug of my Coke. I'm going to mute those so you don't have to hear that sound. It was a good slurp as well. Let me just see who I'm going to bring in next. Okay, next I have got Mum stepping forward. And Mum, I need to talk about Mum again, another spirit that's gone too soon. So there's a real feeling with Mum of Mum moving into spirit at, I would say, latter middle age. And with Mum, I want to talk about her passing from cancer. So there is this sense of her having what I would call a long and epic battle with cancer. Feels like there's a lot of treatment. It feels like she really goes through it, and she is really, really brave. And there is just, it's like it steamrollers her. It's like it just keeps on coming. So this feels like there's multiple. It spreads, it moves. It's like plugging holes when we get rid of one bit, or we get one bit kind of under control, then it rears its ugly head somewhere else. And I need to talk about her being incredibly strong-minded, and incredibly brave, really brave, but always worried about everybody else and how everybody else was feeling. Now, I know that Mum, I want to talk about, she's definitely got a son and a daughter. She might have multiples, but I can definitely feel male energy and daughter energy, and I need to acknowledge both of those being really, really important to her. I know that she is well loved, well liked, and I want to talk about her being quite popular. I feel that she is she's got a lot of friends and a lot of people she takes care of, and she's got this really nurturing, loving way about her where she will she's shown me like broken wings, so she just takes people in and helps them to heal and sets them free, but she always stays in contact. So she has this huge network of people that love her, and this would have been reflected in her funeral. So I know that her funeral, there's a lot of people there. There's a lot of people coming to pay their respects, all these people, all these stories shared about all the wonderful things that she did for everybody. So this is a really important feature about her, is her caring nature, the way that she would check in. I don't honestly know how she had time. to do it and take care of all of the people that she did. But she stayed in contact, she checked in with people. There's this real, it's like an expanded family. So there's your family unit, but there's so many people that she has got, that she takes care of, that she checks in on. And she was always popping in to see this person and drop this off and check that person needed that. And this feels like a real essence of who she is in wanting to take care. She's taken me to greetings cards. So there must be a connection with her sending a lot of cards, writing a lot of cards, popping cards through people's door. I feel like she's not one of those people that would write to, love, done. She would write something, she would take care, she would put her energy into it, she would put her effort and intention into it. And this is again something that people talked about, is how, they were feeling sad about this, and she would pop a card in. She would always let them know that she was thinking of them. These stories have been shared. This is an important aspect of her that has been discussed following her passing. I think there were lots of that stuff shared at her funeral, but you're still getting people now telling you about caring things that your mum did that you have no idea that she even did. So who am I with, please? Who recognises mum here? Francesca. Hi.
Hi.
Hi. Do you understand everything I've said?
I've understood everything, but I'm not quite sure what later middle age means.
So I think this lady would probably be in her early 60s at the oldest.
No, be 70s.
Okay, then I'm not sure I'm with you, but thank you very much. So let me just go through it and double check. Thanks for trying, Francesca, and we'll see where we go. So I've got a lady, I think she's late 50s, early 60s, so somewhere around there. She feels like mum to me. I know that she has got a son. I think she's got a son and two daughters. But forgive me if I've got that wrong, that I want to acknowledge. I want to acknowledge her having a long battle with cancer, and I want to acknowledge her, again, really going through it, having lots of treatment, being incredibly brave. This feels very important. It feels like we're focusing on one bit of cancer and then it's popped up somewhere else, and there's a frustration of at the beginning there's lots of hope. We're hopeful that this treatment's going to work, and it's almost like it fights back. There is just this, it's spreading, it's here, there, it's everywhere. So I need to acknowledge that. I need to acknowledge her concern about the children. I mean, they're not children, I just want to make that clear, but she would call them her children, about her children and making sure they were okay, and in particular her son. She worries about her son. I think there's something about the girls being very capable, but just wanting her to know that her son is going to be okay. And again, I've just got this popular lady who would do anything for anybody, and the sharing of the stories. Carmel? Oh, and Danielle, possibly. Okay. Carmel and Danielle, do you both understand everything?
The relationship might be different.
Okay. Bear with me, Carmel. Let me just get Danielle off mute. Oh, sorry, love, you're still muted. Technology's fun, isn't it? No, you're still muted. Oh, mate, that's a frustration. What fun. Okay. Let me just, Carmel, while Danielle tries desperately to get some sound working for herself, you would understand everything apart from the relationship. So who would it be to you, please?
Sister.
Sister. Okay. But she was a mum. Yes.
Girl and a boy.
Girl and a boy. Okay. And do you understand her in particular being worried about the son?
She worried about everybody, but
Yeah.
he spent a lot of
Okay.
time away. Yeah.
Okay. So bear with me one sec. I'm just wanting Danielle's voice. To Danielle. Danielle, can you just do me a thumbs up? Do you understand everything I've said? No. Okay. This is and Lucy's got her hand up. Hey, Lucy, how you doing?
Sorry, Hannah. It's similar, but it's not mother.
Okay. But you understand everything.
Yeah, but mother's mother.
Mother's mother. 2 girls, 1 boy?
2 boys, 1 girl.
Okay. Uh, and you understand, okay. And I think, Louise, have you taken yourself off mute, Louise?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
And
I
also,
have.
okay. My God, now everybody's getting involved. We've gone from no one to everyone. Isn't that funny? Can you understand everything, Louise?
It's a mother-in-law. It's not a
Mother-in-law.
mother,
Okay.
mother-in-law. And yes, she did send cards to everybody, and she would write very long notes in them.
Yeah. Okay. That feels really important. Okay.
Yeah.
And would you understand the 2 girls, 1 boy?
Not as her children. She didn't have any herself. She was a stepmother to my husband, but there was myself who was important to her, and her my husband's sister.
Okay. Right.
But so maybe.
Louise, I feel like I'm with you. I feel like the energy's moving in that way. We're going to have to go with that. I can't get Danielle's voice. Poor Danielle. So, right, I'm just going to go through it and build my power because this
Yeah.
is not a normal flowing connection. So, not mother, but mother-in-law to you, Louise.
Yeah.
Okay. And you would understand her passing of cancer.
Yes, long
Yes.
battle.
Long battle.
Yeah.
And, it's very hopeful at the beginning, but it just feels like
Yeah.
it spreads. Do you understand that?
Yeah, it did. It did.
Yeah. And you understand her. I mean, she's a lovely lady, isn't she? She
Yeah.
really wants to there's this real sort of mothering, nurturing energy that comes off her where she wants to look after everybody that feels really important.
She wanted to look after everybody to an extent that maybe everybody didn't need it, but she definitely wanted to nurture them.
Don't tell her that. Yeah, okay, no, that's
Sorry.
fine. Got it. Yeah, there's a lot because I do feel like
Yeah.
she is just bringing in this kind of
Yeah.
swooping, like, let me take care of you kind of
She meant well.
enveloping you. Yes, okay, that's fine. I can understand in a mother-in-law, perhaps that might be slightly challenging. So right, and you understand the greetings cards and this sort of
Yeah.
verse written in them, which is really important to her. It was really
Yeah.
important that the effort was showed, that the energy was given, that people knew. Do you understand with her, Louise, her leaving? Had she written some cards in advance when she passed?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, good. There we go. Because it feels like she liked to be really organized and
Yeah.
in almost it's because she's a very lovely lady, but it's almost like she's regimented in her. I've got to get it organized, got to get it done, got to
Very.
be remembered. Yeah, like can never miss anything. It's really
Very.
important.
Yeah, almost OCD. She left diaries for everybody and cards for everybody. Yeah.
Okay, great, good. This feels really good. Okay, let me just right. She's wanting to redeem herself because she's she's like, oh well, because obviously I was like bit much perhaps, but she was a popular lady, wasn't she? She knew a lot of people.
She
You
was.
understand this, and
Yeah.
and there's definitely a sense of her. She obviously cared what people thought because there's a real like pride, possible one-upmanship that so many people attended her funeral. Do you understand this kind of
Yeah,
nature?
I
Like,
do.
oh my goodness, look at all the people that came. That's more than came to Linda's. Like, there's just that kind of like she's got that kind of energy as she shows it
Which
to
is
me.
weird because her name was Linda.
Banging. Good. See, they come when you don't look for them. All my
That
students
was
will
her
go,
name.
yay.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. If I'd asked her for a name, I'd never have got it in a month of
No.
Sundays. So that's the joy of spirit there. Great. Now let me just see. Okay. Has there been a rose planted for her?
Yeah.
Yeah, good. She's very approving of that. She likes that. That's just she instructed that.
I bought it for her when she got cancer. I lived overseas, and so I sent her a rose, a yellow rose, and she kept it all those years. And I've just given it to my son to plant in his garden.
Good. Good. She's really happy about that. See, she's showing that she's around. She's still there, getting involved, having a look at everything, and that
Oh,
feels
good.
important to her. Let me just see what she wants to bring in. It's almost like she's a bottle of fizzy pop that's been shaken up. She's got so much love to give that it is all I can see the overwhelming in that. And I have to say that I can see the perhaps sometimes lack of boundaries or lack of understanding in that, because she just wants to give everything to everyone. And there's this real acknowledgement from her of perhaps it wasn't handled always the best, but that it's because she was so happy. She was so happy to have a family and this life and the noise of it, the community of it, the everything, it just feels like this is so important to her. And there's this acknowledgement from her of how much it meant. And I think she was a very practical lady. So she would show love in deed, in service, in trying to do things, in trying to help, and I'll do that, I'll cook this, I'll do that, and would never. She's got a real busy, never resting. I'll get on with it. I can do it kind of energy. She reminds me a bit of my mother-in-law, who set a standard of house cleanliness and tidiness for my husband, which has never been achieved in our home, because I don't know how my mother-in-law does it, and I have no inclination. So there's just this kind of feeling of wanting to acknowledge that, and wanting to also acknowledge. So I know you've told me that you were overseas. You travelled back to see her before she passed. Is that right?
Yeah, both me and my husband did.
Yeah,
We lived
good.
overseas, but we both came back to see her, and we both made sure that we saw her before she went.
Yes. And she's wanting to acknowledge that, and the how happy that made her to see you all. And there's an acknowledgement here from her of shock. So she must have looked very different when you came back
Yeah,
and you saw her, because
yeah.
there's this real feeling with her of she's back to how you would remember her in her best, in her prime. She's not it feels like she shrank and now she's
She
sort of
did.
coming back. Yeah.
She was
So
very,
there's that.
very energetic, and she closed down a lot, and she was very, I guess, as you would be with cancer.
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
lost a lot of weight, lost her hair, and it was
Yeah.
really, really difficult, really, really difficult time. And she wasn't the woman that we knew.
No.
She didn't have enough to give to everybody. She just needed everyone to be there for her. And unfortunately, when she needed them, they weren't there.
Oh no. Well, that's obviously why she's showing me how important it was that you were there and that you guys came to see
That's
her,
lovely.
but
Thank you.
also an acknowledgement that she's back to how she would want to be remembered, because her appearance, those things are important to her. How she was perceived externally was important to her. It was important to her to have a lot of people at her funeral. It was important to have her home looking nice. It was important for her to look nice. So there's this frustration and this, but I'm back to that now. I'm back to where I'm supposed to be, that she wants to acknowledge.
She did plan her funeral. She did plan all of it and
Yeah,
said who she wanted there. So yeah, that makes sense.
good for her. Yeah, she's really, I love an organized person. She's my cup of tea entirely. And okay, that's the second time. Have you got a cup and saucer of hers?
Yes, I have.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
Yeah. I saw it once and then I thought I'd made it up. But when I said cup of tea, she
yeah,
went like this one. And I went, okay, yeah, there we go.
yeah,
Okay, great. So it's definitely with you, Louise. So that's fantastic.
yeah.
She wants you guys to know that she's okay.
Oh, thank
She
you.
wants you to know that I know that you see, I'm fighting this message, but I'm going to say it to you because I obviously know that you were overseas, but there's still an acknowledgement of what you did for her that she's really wanting to acknowledge. So I feel that you may be worried that it wasn't enough or that you wish you could have done more, but there's a real gratitude that comes from her, from everything you did do. And also there's a real tenderness that you showed her when she was unwell. You were obviously stroking her hand or stroking her arm or holding her hand, something like that there. And that meant so much to her. That was such a comfort to her because I would call up people like me and her organized. Some people might call people like me and her controlling. And I just feel like there's this softness that is you guys bring to her that enables her to let go when she needs to. And
We
she's
did.
very,
We did
yeah,
everything we could for her. We did. We tried to make her feel that she didn't have to fight it on her own.
no, and you did. You succeeded in that, and she's incredibly grateful for it.
Thank you.
So please know that she's around, she's involved, she's watching, she's there, and she does send you all her love.
Thank you.
Thank you, Louise. I'm glad we got there in the end.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Right, let me see who. Okay, I've now got another mum that is very similar to Louise's mother-in-law coming in. So I'm going to get her to show me some differences because it feels almost like we've got slightly competitive ladies. I'm slightly competitive, so I have no judgment on that. Where if one's come in, well, the other one's going to come in then because I'm going to show up if she showed up, and it's got that kind of energy that I want to acknowledge here. So again, I've got another lady that feels like she passes too soon. I do feel like I'm looking at someone mid-60s, so maybe slightly older here. I do feel like I am looking at a lady who oh God, there are so many similar traits. This is really weird for me, but I'm just going to have to build the power and see how spirit unfold it. We're just going to have to go on this roller coaster. So again, I've got a lady that's really worried about things externally. A lady it's very important to her. She's got pride. She wants people to feel like she's got a good, smart family, that everybody's well cared for. She cares about how the outside world sees her, and this feels really, really important to her. She's definitely involved in some community groups. I feel like she's well known in her area, and popular again / well connected. I feel like she may be, I'd be surprised. I'm trying to work out what it is. It might be something like the church or the WI, something like that, where she is well known, well involved, and organizing everybody all the time. And that feels important. There's a ever so slight sternness that can be with this lady. She's a bit no nonsense, and I am wondering actually if she's somebody's nan. So forgive me if it's not mum, but she's got this kind of, no, she's very loving, don't get me wrong, so please don't go, oh no, my nan was nice, I'm not putting but there's a no nonsenseness that I want to talk about here. She's quite direct, she's quite organized. She wants it done how she wants it done, when she wanted it done, to her preference and her standard, that I need to acknowledge. She's definitely involved in her community because I can see her, and this is me paraphrasing it, but bossing people around at the WI. Have you boiled the kettle? Have you, Sheila? Is it done? It just feels like that. Don't put the jams over there. We don't want the jams. The flow will be wrong if the jams are over there. Who cut that cake? She's got that kind of energy. So I need to talk about her. Yeah, she's definitely involved in the community and definitely involved in how she wants things. She's the organizer. This feels very important with her. This feels like everything she loved. I love a clipboard. I just feel like she's the kind of lady that would just love a clipboard. She'd just love it. Think of all the notes you can write and all paper you can flip on that. Love it. So I've got this. She's very smartly dressed, very short hair, smartly dressed, not necessarily stylishly dressed, and that's a bit of a judgment from me there, but you know what I mean. I hope I'm not offending anybody when I'm talking about their loved one. It's the blouse and skirt combo that has been worn for years by ladies in the WI. Sorry if anyone's in there and they're going to send me hate mail afterwards, but you know what I mean. You can't deny it. So I also want to talk about with her, there's a string of pearls which would have been passed on in the family that have relevancy. They're important. So you would also know about these pearls. They've had to be restrung, I do believe, because but they all were kept. Thank God for that, because she'd be haunting you. So who recognises this lady? She's a bit of a powerhouse. I do think she may be a bit older than I thought she was initially, if that helps anybody, but she's definitely presenting to me in her peak organizational age of around 65, because that's when she was happiest. That's when she was retired and bossing everyone around in the village hall, and she lived for it. Anyone? Annie T.
maybe. Yeah.
Baby, go. Let's get you off mute, Annie T.
What? Hi, Hannah. What's
Hi.
WI? What's that mean?
The Women's Institute.
Oh, okay. Yeah, like this, I feel, is my godmother, and she was late 60s, early 70s. She was involved with a community ladies club, and she would have done all that. And her name,
Okay,
yeah, okay. Her
good.
name is Annie. And regarding the necklace, there was a necklace with her name on it with a pearl that broke, and we never got it. I never got it
Oh,
anyway. Yeah,
okay.
it was very significant. Yeah.
Okay, good. Right. Okay, so I was nearly there, but slightly off with the whole string of pearls. But I'm going to
No,
forgive
it's like,
myself for that. At least there was one.
yeah,
Okay, but you understand. Like, okay, sorry,
yeah.
you can tell I live in a village, can't you? Where I just assume everybody knows what the WI is. They're like the mafia of villages. It's a group of well-meaning ladies that will sell you bakes, and you better be polite. Like, yeah, okay. And if anyone used margarine in any of their cakes, they are.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, right. So you you would understand her being like, this is her whole, this, it just feels like it gives her a whole lease of life, this being involved in the community. It's she is not the kind of person that everyone's worried about because she's sat at home. They're worried if they're ever going to see her again because she's organising the tea urn and she's off doing this, and she's always got something going on. You understand?
Delegating.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you understand her being a slightly bossy lady.
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
she knows how she wants it, and she would have liked it like that yesterday, and she's kind of disappointed that she had to tell you, which I vibe with because that's me. My husband will be like, were you reading yourself earlier? And I'll be like, no, what? So I get all of that, and you understand this kind of blouses, skirts combo,
Yes.
smart, but not forward-thinking fashion.
Yeah,
Okay,
absolutely.
good. And as I talk about her forward-thinking fashion, and all of this, did she wear those tights that stop at your knees?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
She,
Okay. I didn't actually show me up her skirt, but I just happened to get a glimpse of them, and I went, "Oh, it's the pop socks or whatever they're called." Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Good. And she had some sort of problem with one of her feet.
She did. She had bunions.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I could just, because the shoes are comfort rather than style. Bless
Yeah.
her little hearts. Yeah. Very fun because she's got places to be. She's got to walk around with her clipboard telling everyone where everything should be. Okay, she's fantastic. What a fantastic lady. Right. She brings that bossy, organized, directive energy directly to you. Her message for you is absolutely no nonsense, no messing. It is time to get everybody sorted, time to channel a bit of her. And I feel like this is in across your work, but it's also across your family. It feels like she's wanting you to just invoke the, no, you will do it like this, and I'm not even going to explain myself why. You're just going to do it how I want it and when I want it. No nonsense. So I feel like she's really working with you in this kind of energy at the moment, and it's almost like you're surprised because she's just, it's like she's using you like a little voice box, and she just goes, no, tell them how you want it, and you're like, well,
Yeah.
and she's really bringing that in for you because it's going to help usher in this next, you're moving into a new phase energetically, and you knew this feeling is there, you're aware of it, and part of that is being very clear on what you want and how you want it. And that is what she brings in for you, is this kind of directive strength straight to you of say it how you want it and no nonsense, make that instruction clear and expect everyone to fall in line.
My goodness. And it's really funny that you say that because you call me Annie. And Annie is kind of like catching on with me now, and it's actually because of her. She's Annie.
Oh, there you go. How lovely. Well, I'm really glad she could come in. How fantastic. Thank you, Annie.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you. And she was really funny the way she kind of just hijacked in on the back of Louise's mother-in-law. She just went, I'm not missing out, straight in. And I was like, okay, very well.
Thank you,
Right.
Hannah.
No problem. Thank you. Let's see who I can get for you guys next. Okay, I have got a younger man stepping forward with me here, and I say younger man, I do feel like this would be someone that I would call a boy, but I do feel like he is adult aged or nearing it. So we're looking at someone late teens, early 20s, somewhere around that, and he brings. I sometimes struggle with the difference between friend and brother. So it'll be somewhere around that. It's either your brother or a friend, a male friend that you were really, really close to. It's they kind of have the same energy when they come in for me. So there is this okay. I do feel like he passes in an accident unexpectedly that I need to acknowledge here. There is this feeling of, it doesn't feel like an illness, it feels like a very sudden passing, and a very tragic passing that I need to acknowledge. There is again, I've got a feeling like I can't breathe. So there's something to do with not being able to breathe that I feel is important to acknowledge here. I do feel like he's been in spirit for quite a long time, because he's showing me watching you grow up. So I feel like you would have been around the same age, maybe a couple of years different, something like that. But there's this acknowledgement from him of his continued presence in your life, being there with you. And I do believe that, I think it's you, have named a child after him. You've had children and named one of them after him. There's some sort of connection that rolls like that, where he's wanting to acknowledge his name carrying on. There is this. Okay. I don't think this is the first time he's come in, because he's making me aware that he is like a guide for you. So this would be somebody that you work with spiritually quite often. I feel that you know that his presence is around, or you've been told previously that his presence is around with you. That I'm still really struggling to take a breath here. So there's this young man here, late teens, early 20s, somewhere around there. He passes very, very suddenly. There's something to do with his passing and not being able to catch his breath or not being able to breathe that I really want to acknowledge here. There is this. It feels like it's unexpected. It feels like it's really tragic. It feels like he's here and then he's gone, and this deep, deep sorrow that we need to acknowledge of him. The shock of it, the horror of it. It feels really, really terrible. Who am I with, please? Who recognizes this young lad here? He's here for someone. Oh, Anna.
Hi.
Hi, Anna. Do you understand everything I've said?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So would this be brother to you?
Friend.
Friend.
Good.
Okay, but a really, really close friend.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay. And you understand that you do you view him as a guide to you?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. Um there's something about you. Did you advocate for him, or give him when he was here, were you his voice in some way, Anna? Do you understand why he's showing
Correct.
me?
Yes,
Okay.
correct.
Okay, because there just feels like this acknowledgement of, it's like a full circle. It's you were his voice and support and confidant when he was here, and now he is the voice for spirit to you and gives you the confidence and gives you the strength. And it feels like this beautiful full circle between the two of you that I really have to acknowledge, because there's something here about you almost selling yourself short, or it's like you feel lucky to have him. I know you miss him terribly, but you feel lucky to have him in this role. But you don't acknowledge often how lucky he was to have you, how much you helped him, how much, because you're like a little firecrackery warrior for him. You were such a like, there's a power, Anna, hey, that he's acknowledging of what you gave him and the support you were for him. And there's this real thing about sharing words. Do you understand this? Sharing words. And this support between you and messages or words or something like that he's wanting to. They were such a beacon of light for him. And with that, there is an acknowledgement here of that there's nothing you could have done. Do you understand this coming from him? Yeah, that you gave him so much more than you give yourself credit for. That there was nothing more you could have done. He's really wanting to acknowledge that it was always supposed to be this way. And I know that sucks, but that is how he shows it to me, that you gave him exactly what you were supposed to, and you gave him so much. There's a real feeling for him of you being the light. It's like it's like he's on a completely different frequency to everybody else on the planet, and then you get him. And he's so grateful for that, because it's like he's an alien. And no one speaks his language and nobody understands him, and he's in this completely strange world going, what? And then you are there, and he doesn't have to explain it to you. You speak Martian, you speak what his language, and you are, it's so, you change everything for him. And there's something here about you he's really pushing the energy of that there's so much worry in you, or could I have done more? Should I have done more? What could I have done differently? All the time. And he says that takes you away from what you gave him, which was so incredible. It's just, you are the gift, Anna. You were the gift for him, and he needs you to know that. He is very, you bring out a playful, fun side to him that is really lovely to see after all this seriousness, because he really wanted to hit his message. He's quite stubborn when he puts his mind to it. And there's this, and he's like, no, we will talk. And I'm going, how about this and this? And he's like, no, finish my message. And there's a real determination, but there's also this kind of playfulness that he brings in with you. And I think that's how you know that he's there, is it's almost like you get a sarcastic one-liner energy. You get like heckled by the spirit world, and you go, oh, my guide is here, how lovely. And there's this he brings that playfulness, because he says to me that sometimes you take it too seriously. You get caught up in it all and yourself, and you're being a human, and he has to just remind you to chill and have fun with it. And that is the energy that he brings you. He is, I would say, not so much pushing. I mean, the image I'm getting is like, it's like you're in a wheelchair or a buggy, Anna, and he is literally running with you, and you're going towards a cliff edge. I promise this isn't a premonition of something bad, but honestly, this is what, and he's going, and you're going, no, the edge, and he's going, we're running off together. And he's just like pelting full speed, and you are going to be launched, whether you want to be or not, Anna, straight off into the abyss. It's an energetic one, so I mean, that's a relief, obviously. But I think you knew this is coming. You can feel the edge coming, you know you're getting close to it, and you're kind of going, well, I asked for this, but maybe we could slow down. And he is running flat out to just chuck you off the deep end. So good luck with that. But he really wants you to know all the good stuff that is coming for you is well earned, well deserved, and he will be there with you every second, all the way through, cheering you on.
Thank you, Hannah.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh, he was amazing. What a communicator.
Pushy, that one.
Yeah, very. But they're kind of useful when they're like that because you just go, okay, here's the message. I better do as I'm told. Right. Good. Amazing. Yeah, you have no choice. That image is just hilarious of you just being launched. I love it. Okay. Careful what you ask for, guys. Always know that with your spirit team. They sometimes deliver. Let me just see who I've got coming in now. Right. I have got a grandmother coming in, and she is like the foundation on which the whole family is built. She's a larger lady, I think, and there's a real strength that comes from her. She had it tough growing up. She had it tough when she was younger, and there feels like there is just all these grandchildren around, and she loves looking after them and taking care of them and nurturing them and feeding them. And she's kind of got this, it's almost like she'd have a baby on her hip and a toddler on her foot, and she'd be cooking this amazing dinner for everybody with no drama, no nonsense, no messing. She's just got that kind of capable, no nonsense, no fuss energy that I really want to acknowledge. And I really feel, I mean, I know grandmas that cook, but I really have to acknowledge, and I do feel for some reason that I need to acknowledge like a big pan. So she's either doing like a big stew or something like that I really need to acknowledge, like it's bubbling away like some amazing concoction, and she's sniffing at it and she knows what it needs and she's adding this and adding that. But she must have looked after all of her grandchildren or many of her grandchildren, because there is just this feeling of it. It's like she's running a daycare, but she's stood over a hob at the same time. It wouldn't pass any health and safety requirement, I can tell you that much. No nonsense with this lady. Now, I do want to talk about her being religious. So I do feel like religion is important to her. I do feel like there would be I think it's a crucifix or some sort of necklace that's been passed on that was hers from her religious beliefs that I also want to acknowledge here. There is this, she has got a husband in spirit, and I'm aware of him with her, but she is the communicator. She was like this in life. She is the same in death. He's there, kind of silent, a bit browbeaten, sort of is waving, he's here, he loves you, he wants you to know he's around, but he will never get a word in while she is there, because she is just too herself. She's just who she is. So I need to acknowledge that with her. Now, I do want to talk about her being quite straight talking, almost opinionated. If you asked her, she would always tell you what she really thought. And sometimes when you didn't ask her, she would tell you what she really thought. And it's a little bit eye wincy. I need to acknowledge that. So who recognizes grandma here? Okay, Lucy, straight in there. I love it. Let me get your off mute again.
Yeah,
Right.
I inherited a gold cross, and yeah, it's I think it's my nan. She was very straightforward. If I bent over in front of her, she'd say, "Look at the size of your backside," just things like that. And she would make an awesome roast beef pot that was quite famous within the family. So yeah, and we would always have that on New Year's Day as a special thing every year as well, where we would all get together and eat her pot roast.
I love it. Good. Okay. Excellent. And you understand her. She's very, very capable lady. No
Yes,
nonsense. Very, very
no
capable.
nonsense.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Did she look after you when you were little?
So I classed her as my second mum. So my parents split up, and yeah, I would go and stay with her every weekend throughout growing up. Yeah.
Excellent, because this feels really important to her, is to acknowledge this. You know, she's no nonsense, but she's full of love. That
Yeah.
she absolutely strict. She won't take any bad behavior. A look would be enough to stop you in your tracks and get you to change your mind. But it was a place of fun and love and comfort. And you understand your sort of young, long-suffering grandfather just in the background.
Hello.
Hi, yeah.
Yeah.
Lovely to see you, love. But she's the one that's
Yeah.
front and center.
She would always say, "Shut up, Ralph," and he would be, "Oh." Yeah.
Yeah, bless him. And that's why he's just waving over her shoulder. And all I'm aware of is this little hand waving, and I was like, "Oh, hello." So they're hilarious. But he likes his life like that. He's very well looked after. He's quickly letting me know he's got no complaints about his life, because he was well cared for. But there's just it's kind of funny. You just know she's in charge. She's got the stuff to say. This is
And
who she
everybody
is.
would say about their sense of humor. That's funny that you've said that, because everybody would say, "Oh, they've got a great sense of humor," even right up until the doctors would see them in their final days, but they've got a great sense of humor. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Good. Excellent. Let me just see. Did she have a lot of figurines, ceramic figurines, or all?
Yes,
Yes.
Ladro.
Okay. Yeah, she's
Everything Ladro. Yeah.
okay. Fantastic. And then I don't know what Ladro is, just in case
Oh,
anyone was
okay.
wondering.
Yeah,
So, but
figurines.
figurines, good. That's perfect. I'm gonna look Ladro up later. And do you understand, after she passed, that it feels like they're doled out, so
Oh,
people.
that's so weird. Yeah. So before she died, she said, "I want so and so to have that and so to have that." And I said, "Look, Nan, you have to write on them." And she said, "Oh, I'll get my gold pen out then, shall I?" But she didn't, so I wasn't sure who to give them to. But yes, they did go to
I think
different people.
I think you got it right. I mean, because I think that they're perhaps, dare I say it, not to everyone's taste. So I don't feel like they're perhaps out pride of place in your home, but it feels like it's done. She's wanting to acknowledge it's done right, because
Oh,
it's a
good.
little bit of her with everybody. All she wanted was everybody to have a memory of being in her home. And that has been achieved. So even though they are wrapped up and put away and not necessarily everyone's got a little bit of that energy, and that's the bit that was important to her, is that. So she's wanting to say thank you for that. So that's great, and acknowledge that. And you've also got a ring of hers.
I have, and I've
Good.
just had to take it off because my fingers have been swelling and it's too small. I did have it resized, but I've literally just taken it off over the last couple of days because it was actually making my finger smaller than it should be. So yes.
That's hilarious. Okay, well there you go. She's acknowledging that. That's funny, because I got it from my rings, and my rings are too big.
Oh.
So I lost weight, they keep falling off. So that's really funny that she brought it in on that. Let me just see. There's I know that she liked things to be done properly. And it's almost like she has I don't think it's a written rule book, but it's almost like she has this set of rules of how people should be and how they should behave, and what makes a good person and a good citizen. And that it just feels, in her kind of formal, no nonsense way, that she's wanting to almost rubber stamp you, Lucy, like you are a good person. And there's just this acknowledgement from her that I think people have been a little unfair to you, and perhaps not noticed or acknowledged your good intentions. And there is this frustration from her, because she's seen it all. She's been there with you, and she's been so proud of you doing the right thing, and being the good girl. And so, and she doesn't do faint praise. She doesn't
No.
so this is important. She really wants you to know, because I think it's almost like you've had the thought of, well, that was a waste of time, no one's even noticed. She has. She's seen you. She is so incredibly proud of the human you've grown up to be. He's got a word in. They both are.
Oh, good. Oh, yeah, that sounds typical. Yeah.
Yeah. Me too. Me too. Doesn't want to be left out.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you also got like a bedspread or a throw that was hers?
Uh, I think I've got everything that they had, but it's all up in the attic, but not
Okay.
particularly a bedspread that I can remember.
Trying to work out what she's trying to show me. It's not shifting for me. There's a bit of homework for you. You're the first person to get
Okay.
some tonight, so that's unusual. There's something. It's something. I mean, whether it's a blanket or a throw or a bedspread, I just feel like I want to lay it out over a bed and smooth it. And I keep getting this feeling like, and it's, making a bed from the spirit world, but there's some acknowledgement there. It might click in with you later. Hopefully it will, but I can't change it. Normally when I'm wrong and I go back, they go, what was that? And I go, I don't know. But I'm still getting that feeling, still getting that
So
acknowledgement.
she used to cover me with a blanket, and I used to say to her, talk to me until I go to sleep, Nan, and she would just smooth me like over the top of the blanket. So I don't know if that's what that
Right,
movement
that's what it
is.
is then. I was like, because I just wanted to keep smoothing a blanket. And
Yeah,
I just, that was me getting in the way then, because I just assumed that you'd got it, but it's her smoothing. Oh,
yeah.
that's really
At the end of the blanket
lovely.
and smooth the top of the blanket and talk to me until
Yeah,
I
like
sleep.
rubbing it down. Oh,
Yeah.
okay, fantastic. See, you just have to trust and it all works out. Fantastic. And that really is the energy that she brings, is just this, I'm still there loving you. I'm
Mm.
still there tucking you in. I'm with you all the time. So please know that she's there. She's at both of them. Can't not
Oh
acknowledge
yeah.
Grandad.
Yeah, no, yeah.
But they're both there, and just huge amounts of love and pride coming for you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you all very, very much. I hope that you've enjoyed tonight. It's always an adventure. We never know how it's going to go and how it's going to work. So thank you all for working with me and bringing such lovely energy. As you know, this was recorded, so I will pop it onto YouTube. So if you got a reading tonight and you want to watch it back, or you want to watch it back anyway, you are more than welcome to have another look at your readings. And I hope to see you all again soon. Thank you guys. Take care. Bye.